Okay, John, this is a video for you, instructional video on a bunch of different things that can show you. And it's going to be a series of videos showing you how to do these different things that we do around the house at different times of the year for different reasons. Okay, today's video is going to be about servicing the genset Honda on the porch, which is a 6,500 watt unit. And the reason we have to give this generator a special attention is because it has a steel gasoline tank. And when it has a steel gasoline tank, the only way to store that unit without running into problems from it rusting is to keep it full of gas. But as you know, gasoline doesn't last forever. So what you have to do is you have to take the gasoline out of the tank and replace it with new gasoline when every 6 months at the least, and at 12 months at the longest, if you're going to be using it for like hurricane season and things of that nature. If you're just going to store it and not use it for a long period of time, you can just leave it full of the gasoline for many, many years, okay, which I've done on motorcycles and things of that nature, and the tank will be as good as brand new. Just make sure you top it off and keep it full of gasoline. So that's the reason why we have to service this particular gas generator every 6 to 12 months, because we live in Florida at the present time, and we have hurricane season, which just started the other day. We're in the month of June now, and June through November is like hurricane season. So this is a backup for our 2200 generators, which we have 2 of. But those generators have plastic tanks. And if they have plastic gasoline tanks, you can leave them empty with no problem, and they will not rust because they're made out of plastic. So, but because this one is made out of metal, we have to service it more regularly and keep it full of gas. Okay, so that's what we're going to start doing today. Okay, we're going to see if we can continue to, service this generator. And I gotta see if I can turn this around without screwing this up. Don't know. Okay, John, so back again. Here is the generator. It's out on the porch, and what we have to do is we have to take all this stuff off in order to service it. So that means we have to move it from one table to the other, okay, and get it ready to service. So that means taking this cloth off. Take the cloth off, okay, and put that over to the side. And then you have to take this board off. Without hurting yourself, and put it off to the side. And then there's your generator, okay? Now what you're gonna need is a few items in order to get this running and service it, okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to run it for about 10 or 15 minutes with the existing gasoline that's in it. And as you see, the tank is right there, is full, okay? That means you've got a full tank of gas, and that the inside of that tank should be as good as the day it was made, okay? So what we have to do now is we have to go out and we have to get some parts in order to get the things we need in order to start this generator, okay? Now the first thing we're going to go and get, so we're going to go into the garage here, okay? And what we have to have is we have to have a battery in order to start the generator, okay? So here's the battery that you can get. Now it could be this battery, it could be a battery out of your car, it could be a battery in the shed, it could be a battery from anywhere, okay? But what you want to do is you want to have a battery like this to start the generator, okay? Then you're going to need a little screwdriver, not a big one, which is a flathead screwdriver like this, okay, that you're going to need in order to open the gas valve on the carburetor, to drain the gas out of the carburetor. And what I use, okay, now, I used to drain everything through the carburetor all the way to 0 in the tank, but what I do now is I take this gas pump right here, okay, and I put this gas pump on the I use it to pump the gas out of the generator into an empty gas tank, okay? And I have to have an empty gas tank right back here, or if there's not one right there, there could be one in the shed, or there could be one in the box trailer, because you need an empty one to put the old gas in. All right, so that's what we're going to start right now, is we're going to start pumping the gas out of the old gas out of the generator into this jug, okay? So we're going to open up the top there, get it out like that, and then we're going to put the batteries in the pump, okay? And you have to do it the right way. You look at the little diagram inside, okay? And put your batteries in, all right? And then what you have to do is, oops, get those batteries in, okay? And then what you do is you open up the lid on your gas tank, put it to the side, all right? And then inside here, there's a screen. But what we want to do first, before we do all of that, is before we take the gas out, we want to start and run the generator. So I'm going to have to start another video to do that, because I have to have 2 hands to move the battery out here from the garage, okay? So I'm going to stop this now for the time being, and we will start when I get the battery all set up on the generator to start it up and get it running so that it can run for about 5-10 minutes, okay? Get back to you in a minute. Okay, John, so now here we go again. All right, we have our battery here now, all right? You'll see that it's a regular car starting battery that you have to have. Now on the generator here, you'll see you have cables, okay? And this red means positive, so you put it on the positive cable connection, okay? And the other cable is negative, okay? And that goes on the negative cable connection right here, okay? All right. Now, in order to start this, you have to open this gas valve, which is turning it straight up like that, okay? That'll allow the old gas to run down into the generator carburetor bowl, all right? Now what we want to do is I pulled it out away from the screen about, I don't know, a foot or more, okay? I may bring it out a little bit more, okay, because you don't want the hot exhaust hitting that screen, because that's a plastic screen and it will melt, okay? So then when you go to start your generator, okay, you come over here, you have your on, off, start, and then you have a choke. You want to make sure the auto idle is off, and you're going to pull the choke out all the way, okay? And then you're going to turn it to the on, and then start. And it starts right up. Okay. So that's all you really have to do in order to get it started. And then you run it for about, I would say, a good 10 minutes. So about 10 after 12. 10 after 12, we'll shut her down and we will start the gas change process. Now, if this generator had been running for more than, let me go in so we can get out of the noise a little. Okay, if that generator had been running for more than 24 hours, say you had an outage, okay? More than 24 hours, you need to do an oil change. And there is a meter on the outside of the generator panel that tells you how many hours it's run, okay? And right now, I will show you that. Okay, 1.8 hours is on there right at the moment. Okay, now that it's run on high, let's put it on automatic so that it can run on automatic too as well. That also reduces the sound, okay? Brings it way, way down. But that gives the low idle circuit some time to clean itself up with, because gasoline is a good detergent for cleaning carburation, all right? But also, we want to put on, we're going to go get some fuel stabilizer, because when we put the new fuel in, we're going to want to put stabilizer in it. So that's what we have to go get next, is we'll get some fuel stabilizer and get that ready to go in the tank, because you're going to want to put that in first before you put the new gas in. And I use this Startron gas treatment, okay? And then we're going to need some fresh gas. So we'll take this big jug here, and we got some fresh gas, okay? And we got Startron fuel treatment that you want to put in. You only use like about a capful for 5 gallons. This thing only takes, it only takes 3.5 gallons. So you're going to be putting in a full capful, so which will be more than enough treatment to keep it going, okay, for the next 6 months to a year. Now, if you notice, you can hear that the motor fluctuates just a little. That is because the old gas is old, okay? Probably been in there 6 to 8 months, okay? But it also is running a little bit on the rich side too, because I can smell unburnt gas, all right? And that's basically because it's idling at lower speed and the carburetor hasn't been utilized that much. But now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, at 2:03, about 5 minutes, I'm going to turn it back up on high and let it run on high now for the rest of the time. Okay, and that should allow us to get to our 10-minute cycle. Back later. Okay, back again. It's about been 9 minutes, okay? And we're gonna go out there and we're gonna throw it on low idle again, okay? And then we're going to, when it hits 10 minutes, we're gonna shut the gas valve off and let it run out of fuel completely in the carburetor, okay? So that's what we're doing now. Then what we're going to do is we're going to allow it to run that last minute, which is about another 25-30 seconds on low idle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shut the gas valve off in the back above the carburetor so that it will run the carburetor dry or semi-dry. It doesn't completely empty the whole carburetor, but it gets it to where the generator will stall out, okay? So that's what we're going to do now, is we're at a good 10 minutes, see? Good 10 minutes. So we're going to shut this gas valve off. 1/4 turn to the right. And now we've just let it idle for a few more minutes on low until it runs out of gas, or you can also turn it, if you want to get it done a little quicker, you can turn it up on high idle. In other words, turn the automatic idle adjustment off, and it'll run out of gas faster. And that's usually what I do. I let it run for a few seconds more, but it's starting to idle a little better, but that's usually right before it stalls out anyway. All right, it'll come up like that a little bit, and then she'll just stall out on you, and that's it. The carburetor is empty, and you can start the gasoline removal and reinstallation on this project. So what it's doing now is it's just idling out, and hopefully it should stall out really, really soon. When it does stall out, you should shut the battery off, the key to the off position, which is right over here. You see that? Key, it says off. You want to turn it to the off position. Okay? So, see it revved up a little bit. Now it's starting to come down a little. And I do believe in a very short period of time here, it's going to stall out. And that'll be the end of whatever's in the carburetor. Now, I usually run it dry like that because I want to get my full 10 minutes in. But if you didn't want to, you could just shut that valve off, because the part of this is we have to still drain that carburetor anyway, okay? But you can see it's going way down now. You hear it starting to go down, and eventually it should stall out on us, and we will no longer be running, okay? It should happen any second now that she should run out of gas. Okay? Well, we're going to throw it off auto idle. And she stalled. Okay, so she's done. So now what we do is we turn it to the off position because we don't want the electricity on. Then the next thing we do is we go over here to the gasoline tank. Here's where we're going to start to take the gasoline out. But what you have to get out is down inside here, there's a little screen, a debris screen that they put in there to make it so that crap can't get in your gas tank. And it's a very good thing to have, but it's a very hard thing to get out, because in order to pump the gas out, you have to have this out of the way, and they don't make it easy to get it out of there. They make it extremely difficult because they don't want you to take it out, okay? They want you to leave it in. So you have to be fidgeting with the damn thing in order to remove it. And I'm having my problems here getting it to release out of here. But I'm working on it. Okay. Maybe if I use a screwdriver, I may be able to pry it out a little. But you don't want to screw up the screen, so watch what you're doing if you try this method, okay? And it doesn't seem to work anyway, so okay. What you have to try and do is you try and, there it goes, all right. And you get it out of the way. Now you'll see in there, there's crap. We want to clean that out before we put it back, all right? But the next thing we do is we put our pump in here, like so, okay? And then we put the end of it in our tank over here, and we just turn the pump on, see? And this will pump the majority of the gasoline out, okay? And once we get the most out of the gas out of the tank that we can get, okay, then we will go to the carburetor side and we will drain the rest of the carburetor. Now, over here on the carburetor side, all right, there is drain hoses that are attached right here. This is the one you want to use. Normally that's fixed right here, but this is the one you want to use, because this one, if you follow it up, goes right to the bottom of the carburetor right there. See, it goes right to the bottom of the carburetor, and right above that is the drain hole, the drain screw you have to open in order to get the gas out. Okay, so that's how that works. All right, but right now we're still getting fuel, I think, out of here. I think just a little bit. Oh shit, have to watch it because this will come out of the tank, and it's a booger. Sometimes I have to put the gas tank up on a stool, because for some reason they don't give you a really long hose. They could use about another 2 feet on the hose, you know, and that would make this pump perfect, but for some damn reason they don't want to do that. You know, and I could swear it's got more gas in it than that. So I'm going to continue to pump this until I get it completely pumped out. All right, so I'm going to pause the video now. Okay, now we drained out a good 2.5 to maybe 3 gallons. Had to tilt, put a little block of wood under the front to tilt the thing back so that I could pump the major amount of gasoline out of there. Now, for the last little bit that's still in there, I have to take and get a smaller gas can so that we can drain the carburetor. So I will return my pump back to the wall, because we no longer need the pump. We took 3 gallons out. That's the fast way of doing it. And we're going to get the rest of it out, which is probably another 1/2 gallon. So we're going to use this little jug here, okay, to do that. All right, so that's what you want to try and do. All right, and we're going to take and we're going to bring this around so that we can start draining out the rest of the gasoline that's in the bottom of the tank, because we wanted all of the old gas out as quickly as we can. Now, this is fresh gas that I have here, so oops, Jesus, that one's full. All right, this is fresh gas. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the fresh gas out of this one so that I could use it to replenish, because it's the same gasoline that's in that other one, but that other one is completely full. So what I have to do is I have to get another gas can, and back here that is empty, and I have to put the rest of what's in this one, little one, in this one here to get it so I can use it to replace the gasoline I took out, because this is fresh gasoline, so I don't want to mess it up by putting old gasoline in there. Okay, so that's the fun part of this job, okay, is you gotta continually be adapting, and everything, next time you do this, you may not have to do that, because this little thing here may be empty, okay, and you won't have to empty it out, but today it's full, or almost full. And I was going to just use it to dump the old gas out of the bottom of the tank, but I don't want to do that. I want to use this gas, this fresher gas,
to replace the older gas that was in that generator tank. So what I have to do is empty out all of the gasoline that's in this little can into this can so I can put it into the generator when the time comes. But we'll just put this off to the side because this is all new gas. And then what we want to do now is we want to take the cap off of this one right here, okay? And we're going to bring that around to the back side of here, okay? And we're going to put this inside in here. You put it just like that, okay? And then you take this off of the block now because you want the gasoline to flow back to the carburetor, so you take it off the block, all right? And then here's where this screwdriver comes in handy, okay? And then right down here, where I showed you the screw was, right here. See where I'm putting the screwdriver? All right? And then you just have to turn it a little bit. You can hear it flowing. And then you turn the gas valve back on. So whatever's in the tank will flow out. And you should see it starting to come out here when this is open far enough. And I'm not seeing too much coming out, so we may have gotten the majority of the gasoline out with the, no, there's still gasoline in there, see it? It's shiny, okay? But this little block of wood that I used to prop it up in the front, we're gonna have to use it to prop this wheel in the back on this side because this will tilt it towards the gas. So now I have to lift this, so I'm gonna have to put you down for a second, okay? Just sit you over here for now and just leave it there for a sec while we lift up on this and tilt. And we've now got it so we can tilt the gasoline. So hopefully what's left in here will run out into that little jug, which is the plan. Now let's see what we got going. Okay, it's open. And there's a little, see a little bit of gas coming out? So that's what we want to get out of the tank. Because I like to do a complete job, not just half job, you know? So that's what I do. I run it till there's no more gasoline in here at all. I don't run it, but I drain it until it's all gone. And you can see there's only a little bit of residue down there now. So I think we're getting real close. There's not much in the way of gasoline left in there. So we're getting down there to where we can start refilling the gas back into it. Now, the next thing we can do while that's draining is we can take this cup. You see the crap in the cup? Okay, we want to get that crap out because that is residue, okay? Rust, or actually it's probably pollen or some sort of dirt that has gotten in there. So we want to get rid of that dirt, okay? If you can see it, there's dirt right there. And how we do that is we fire up the generator here, compressor, and we get the spray nozzle out, the air nozzle, which is in here somewhere. Should be in here somewhere. Looking. Should be in here somewhere. Here it is. Here it is, right here.
of the debris is gone. It only took a very, very small amount of air, and you did not have to compress it very much, okay? So now this is all clean and ready to go back in, all right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check and see if the gas tank has finished draining out as much as it can, okay? Because we have it as best we're going to get it, I think, as far as draining out all of the old gas, which I don't think there was a whole heck of a lot, because I think we got most of it. And it's still coming out a little bit. So I'll tune back in when it's time to tidy everything up. Okay, John, back again. And now what we've done is, after I let the gas run into the small container over there until I could no longer see gasoline in the tank, okay, by looking into the hole over here, okay, right in that hole you could see gasoline down over this area, okay. As long as I could see that, I used the big tank. Once I could no longer see that, I took the little tank off, all right, of the drain tube, and I put this little glass jar here, okay. And if you see the glass jar, it's dripping into the jar, the gasoline coming out the hole in that, you know, the bottom of the carburetor bowl is how that drains out, by virtue of that valve being open. See that little screw being open? Okay, but now what we're going to do is we're going to shut the valve off now, because it's just dripping, okay? When it gets to this point, you're pretty much empty, okay? So we're going to turn it back 45 degrees, turn it back to 45 degrees, see, to off. Off is horizontal, all right? And then we're going to watch down here for the drip to stop. As soon as the drip stops, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take that screwdriver we had. What did I do with it? It's around here somewhere. I gotta find the screwdriver now. That's the problem. Oh, it's over here on the ground. We take our screwdriver like this, and we come back over here, and right where that screw is, okay, we just screw it back in just like that, okay, and tighten it pretty good. You don't have to kill it, but you should tighten it good. Now what we do is we take what's left in this can here of this jar, the gasoline that is in a jar, all right, and what we do is we take it out of there and we pour it into the container that had all the old gasoline, okay, that we took out of the tank. So what you'll do is you just up and pour this in like so, okay, and you're done with that. And then you put your glass jar, I just leave it over here because that's where it's always going to be used, and put a cap on all this old gas. And as you see, this tank has got about 3.5 gallons in it. 3 to 3.5 gallons, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to put the new gas in, all right? And we're going to get it ready to fire up again. Now, the thing we did was we went and we cleaned this, remember? Cleaned this little strainer. Now you want this strainer to go back in here, okay? Now if you notice, this is going through a groove to open it right here. And that seems to be part of the problem of getting it out. But once you get it in there, you push in the center, push right straight down into the center, and try and get it back down in, okay, all the way, if you can. Now it's not necessarily good to leave it up, so we have to keep turning it until we get it down in there, okay? So it's down in there like that, making sure we don't poke through the screen, because that'll defeat the purpose of the screen, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the gasoline that we brought out, the new gas, and we're going to put it in there and fill the tank back up. But, all right,
Okay, but before we do that, we're going to put in some gas stabilizer, okay, to stabilize the fuel so that we can keep the fuel in as good a condition as we can keep it in, all right? But we also have to take this down off of the jack, or off the piece of wood. So what I usually do is I just reach down here like this, pick it up, and kick it out with my foot, and put the thing down level, because you don't want to fill it up unless it's level. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to get your Startron, all right, and you're going to put one capful in. Okay, just one capful, that's all you want, because one capful treats 5 gallons, of which we don't have, but that'll be a little overdone, which is okay, because it'll give you a little bit more protection, you know, from the gas going bad. And I never had a problem since. Okay, using that. Now, what we do next is we start filling up the tank. Okay. So, okay, I'm doing this all one-handed, so it's always fun. But we're going to fill it with brand new gas after we put the stabilizer in, so that the stabilizer mixes with the gasoline. Okay? It gives you a good mix. And we got about, I got 2 gallons. You seeing it start to come up the screen now? Okay. So now we have it up a little bit, but it's still, you'll see the screen there. There's no gasoline over the top of the screen, or the bottom of the screen, so it's not full enough yet. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to come over here, and we should have left our pump here. And you know why? Because I forgot I got a big full tank of fuel here that I got to depressurize with taking the back off here, but so that I can pour it in there without pouring it all over the place. Okay, I should have used the pump, which is what I'm going to go get now, because that was stupid to put the pump back when you still got some gasoline to be moved from one tank to the other. So go back to where I put the pump. Okay, now the batteries would normally, I usually keep a couple of AA's right here. Okay, I tested those ones that I just had and they were low, so I got new ones. All right, and here's the pump again. So we'll take the pump back. You'll see on the top of the pump here it says on and off. Well, that's how you turn it on and off to get it going. Okay, but what we're going to do next is we're going to take the cover off and put our batteries back in, following the diagram on the bottom. Okay, you don't necessarily have to put the cover back on, but you're going to put it back in the big tank. Okay, and turn the little one around here, and you're going to stick the hose into the little one. Try not to kink the hose, and then you turn the button on. And it should fill this up really fast now, because you have a full battery. And you'll notice the stream is a lot stronger. Okay? But you have to be really careful and pay attention, and don't walk away, because this thing pumps, I think, about 2 to 3 gallons a minute. So it will fill this little 2-gallon tank in a very, 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 very short period of time. So you want to make sure that you're constantly aware. You can start to see it coming up through the tank here, a hole, and she's getting pretty close to full. So I think what we're going to do is cut it off now, because what we want to do now, when you have this thing used like this, you want to make sure that you drain out all the gasoline that you can in the hose, because if you take it off like that, the gasoline will go everywhere, all over the place, and you don't want to do that. Hook it right over there for the time being, and come and get your gas cap, pour spout, I guess you call this, and get that on there. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to continue filling this tank with fuel. Okay, for some reason. Okay, John, I'm back at it. The freaking iPhone filled up the data completely, so I had to get my Google phone out. Now, you see where the gas is? It's not quite high enough. So what we have to do is we have to put more gas in the little tank here in order to fill it up, because you want it filled up as to the tippity top. Okay, so we're gonna fill this tank up again. Be very careful, because you have to, it comes out of there really, really fast. So you really want to keep your eye on it, because in a very, very, very short period of time, it's going to fill this thing up. And she's about halfway now. Okay, so we're going to flip her off. And remember, I told you, you have to drain the tube, or you're going to end up with gas everywhere. Okay, stick it back up under, and you're all set. Now you put your cap back on, and go at it again till we get it full. Okay? All right, here we go. Where you want it to be full to is to that brown cap, to the top of the strainer. And that's all. See? Right about to the top of that strainer. See how it's nice and full? And then what you do is you put your cap back on, and you're done with that part. All right. Now the rest of this has to all be put away. All right. And what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up putting everything back to where you got it. Okay. No longer need the screwdriver. Okay. Everything's off. That's off. Your valve is off in the back. Everything is off. Okay. And you're at 2 hours. Okay. Exactly. On the meter. The little meter there I added so that you could gauge time when it's time to change the oil and things of that nature. At 25 hours, you change the oil. Every 25 hours. Okay. So if you were to be using this for a long period of time, you would be changing the oil after every 25 hours. Okay? So you pretty much know where all this stuff goes back. Battery goes back in the garage. Tools go back in the rack in the garage. All this gas cans go back in the garage. And then we're going to cover the generator back up with the board and the cover, and you're all done. And that will make a wrap on this. Now what you've ultimately done is you change the gasoline
in your generator, exercised your generator, and it's ready to go for hurricane season. So you're all set to go. And I'm out.